Hello, my name is Elizabeth Kramer, and I want to share with you an awful experience I had when I was about 17 years old. It was one summer morning, and I woke up and I was stretching. I was really just getting that good stretch ready to go. I let my father know that I was going to be right across the street at the park. So after I informed him that I was going to cross the street, I go outside, I cross the street I checked before I crossed it, of course, make sure no cars were coming. And I got ready for my run. Now, I ran around a football field. And I got a really good run through there. When I was done, I was feeling so pumped up, it was great. So I got ready to go back home. I had to walk up a hill, and I'm looking both ways before I cross the street, of course. Now, as I looked, I noticed that my father was just outside watching the flow of traffic. And when he caught my eye, he says to me, "Oh, great, I'm glad you're here. Do me a favor and move my car." So I was like, okay, the car was just a block away. He just wanted me to move it and park it in front of the house. Not a problem. I went inside. I got the keys. And I went to the car. Now, really, I was 17 years old, and I just needed to turn around and get right in front of the house. But like I said, I was 17. I was young, so happy I was driving a car. I decided to take the long way around. So I get there. I stop at a red light, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. Finally, a light turns green, and I go to make the turn. Light turns green, and I'm ready to make the turn. And the worst thing that could have happened, I hit a parked car. Oh my goodness, you wouldn't even believe. I was sweating bullets. I was so scared my father was going to rip me a new one. So I tried to back up. Unfortunately, when I backed up, I backed into a car who was also making a turn. Now, the lady behind me, she's screaming, she's yelling. I was so lucky that woman just pulled out and just kept going. So I make the turn, park the car. I needed to make sure that it wasn't ruined. But it wasn't awful. It was just a little dent. I was so relieved. Alright, so I just got back in the car, and next bad thing that could have happened, police officer. I see the lights, he pulls me over, I pull over, and I'm like, oh no. I'm thinking, maybe that police officer saw me when I hit the car, so I'm waiting. And he's walking over to me, and he starts talking. I looked at him, I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying, I'm deaf. So he starts making some signs with his hands to inform me that I needed to give him my license registration. So I'm trying to explain to him I don't have that. My house is around the corner. Police officer tells me, okay, I'll follow you, let's go. Now I'm really scared because I'm like, my father's going to see, I'm going to get into so much trouble. But to my great relief, the police officer turned off the lights, so I wasn't as embarrassed as I could have been, and I was hoping that maybe my father wouldn't notice. When I get in front of the house, to my dismay, the officer turns his lights right back on, and my father comes over asking me what happened because now there's a police officer. Oh my goodness, I was so nervous. I was sweating like crazy. But to be honest, I was so lucky because my father knew this police officer. So that was a load off my back. I was hoping that maybe the police officer would just let me off with a little warning. So the police officer and my father start getting into a conversation, and the officer explains to my father that I can't drive without a license and registration. So my father goes, "Oh, excuse me, that was his own fault. He just wanted me to drive the car around the corner." And that, he just handed me the keys and I ran off really quickly. Police officer informed us that I had to make sure that even if I was just going around the corner for the car, I needed to always have my license and registration. I was so nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if the police officer was going to mention about the car or, the accident. But nothing happened. He just gave that warning and drove off. So I was really just relieved. And my father apologized to me, can you believe it, and told me that he should have remembered to tell me to take my license and registration. I just got home. Oh my God, he never found out about the accident, and I'm so happy. But to tell you the truth, that is an experience I will never forget. It was just so awful.